Friday sometimes is I like to bring in people from the community. That's not always talking politics, bringing people from the community that can give information that can help you out. A very important issue to me, and I'll say this, is education. You won't get, someone like myself that's not a more important issue than education and dealing with our youth and making sure that they have a fair chance at a quality education. And today, what I'm doing is I'm bringing in Paul Davis, who's the director of admissions from Loyola High School in Detroit. It's a private school here in the city of Detroit, and they're having an open house this weekend. And I brought him on so he could talk about the tradition and the great educational opportunities at Loyola. So, Paul Davis, welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for coming on this morning. I really appreciate it. Like I was telling my listeners, education is very important to me, and I'll give you a little bit of my background, Paul. I'm a JZU kid. I went to eight years at JZU, but then getting into high school, my mom and dad had to make a decision about what they could do to, send me to high school. I had a younger brother that was 2 years behind me, and I ended up starting off at Henry Ford. So imagine this, 8 years of JZU. And then I ended up at Henry Ford, and I graduated from Mumford. And it always stuck with me, the difference in the quality of education that you can get at a parochial school. And I wanted you to tell the folks a little bit more about Loyola and what's going on there, but also the quality of education that their kids can receive there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Loyola is one of the few private Catholic schools that we made in the city of Detroit. And I think, that alone makes us pretty special. Mm-hmm. Because we hold on to a tradition that you can't find, in too many places in the city. We are on the west side of Detroit. This is our 25th year of existence. On average, we have about 150 guys with us, ranging from freshmen to seniors. So much smaller than what you find in like a public or a charter school at the moment,
right?
Which means you have smaller class sizes, and they give students a better opportunity to, interact with their teachers. Gives their teachers a better chance to actually know their students. And I think that bond creates a good dynamic in the classroom for sure.
I totally agree. Now, this is an all-boys academy. You said it's been open for 25 years?
Absolutely, yep.
Wow, okay. And what are the rate for kids graduating from Loyola to go to college? Like, what are your approximate, how many people out of a graduating class, how many of them tend to go to college after that?
So after last year, that was our 7th year of having 100% college acceptance for our graduating seniors.
Wow.
And those colleges range from, 4-year universities that are in Michigan to some that, are in New York and across the country. So we have guys going everywhere. And, taking the things that they learned at Loyola with them, which is, good discipline and just generosity for others.
Excellent. Now, this is an all-boys academy, right?
Yep, it's an all-boys institution. And I know sometimes when guys first hear that, it scares them away. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they always see the benefit of it until they actually, get into it and start to meet the other guys that are around them.
Right.
One big benefit, to being around a lot of other guys is you can build a bond and a brotherhood and kind of feed off of each other's success. So it creates a positive environment of a lot of guys that push each other to be the best they can be.
And do you have a sister school, or is there a sister school to Loyola?
At the moment, we don't.
Okay.
But, we still do a lot of different, interactive things with high schools, diversity programs, that really allow us to branch out into the Metro Detroit community, as well as our own, and, really collaborate to expose our guys to, a lot of things.
Is there now this is a high school, is there a middle school or anything else that's attached to the school?
Nope, we're just a high school, so we start at the 9th grade level and go all the way up to 12th.
Is there a test that's required to get into Loyola? Do you have to take a test to get in?
Yeah, so we have an entrance exam. Our first one will be actually coming up the week following open house, so November 18th, which is a Saturday. We'll be doing our first testing for entry, which will be at 9 o'clock at the school. You can give a call to the school to register, which we, advise. But if you can't do that, showing up on the day of is still appropriate.
Okay. Now tell folks that are listening in, because there might be some folks that want to send their kids there, want to know more information. You're having an open house this weekend?
Yes, this Sunday we will be having our open house, a fall open house. Big event at the school. The entire school will be open. We will have all of our teachers and faculty there to speak to parents and families. We'll actually have about 30 guys, current students there as well, who will be the tour guides for the families that visit. So you'll get a chance to really interact with the guys that live it every day, as well as, talk to some of their parents, our principal, administration, to really get a good feel for the school.
If a father or a mom and father or a parent are trying to decide right now, if they're weighing out parochial school, public school, what would be the selling points that, if they're listening right now, what would be the things that they could take away that they would know Loyola's the best school for their son right now?
Well, I think with us being a private institution, one thing that I always like to note is, we are a very affordable institution.
Okay.
We do a lot of things with tuition assistance that help aid families just to provide that quality education for their sons. If they're looking for a better environment for them, if they don't really particularly care for where they're at, we're a very welcoming community. We have very high academic standards as well as, strong extracurriculars as well. We have an athletic program that's extremely strong, but we also have a debate team that competes on a national level. So we're able to, cater to a lot of different interests for a lot of different, young men in the city. And we're really trying to build young men that can actually give back to their community when they graduate.
And I'm just going to speak on this part, and you can, kind of let me know. How important is it to have a faith component to teaching these young men, and as we send them into the real world? Because I really feel like sometimes, obviously, when you take God out of public schools, you end up with something different. How important is it having that faith component to this education process?
I think it's very important, and we stress that on a daily basis to our students, and they respond very well to it. I think it enriches their perspective of life, and allows them to actually go out with a, full heart, and always, as our motto goes, be a man for others.
Wow.
So to always, try to give back, reflect on, where you came from, and never forget that, and know that there's always somebody else out there that can, benefit from your kindness.
Now, as a JZoo kid, I still have flashbacks on this, Paul. I got to ask you, do you have nuns at the school? Are there any nuns?
We have no nuns.
No nuns? Okay. All right.
We have two Jesuits, though. We have two Jesuits on site.
Okay.
And they do very good with the school to work with the students as well to, make sure that our campus ministry is strong. We do a daily prayer for our students, faculty, and staff. Every day we start off for about 10 minutes to do a morning prayer, which is basically a nice piece of unity and community, and then we break off into our classes. Man,
that sounds so good. I know that a lot of people have taken, like I said, you've taken God out of the equation in a lot of these different schools, and particularly in public school, obviously. And I just think that it can make such a difference when you're mentoring and teaching these young men and decision-making processes and things of that nature. So it's definitely very refreshing. Now, I heard you say earlier that there is tuition assistance in ways, because obviously that is one of the barriers sometimes for parents who want to make that decision is tuition assistance. Could you kind of talk about that a little? I mean, you don't have to give specifics, but there is tuition assistance at Loyola?
Yeah, for sure. So, the way our tuition works is we have a lot of sponsors that help with the school. So we actually have one big component of our curriculum, which is an internship program.
Okay.
We call it the Loyola Work Experience Program. Mm-hmm. So we have sponsors that range from Ford Motor Company to General Motors, Dyke Gossett Law Firm, Beaumont Hospital, but a lot of Metro Detroit businesses that our students actually work at when they become juniors and seniors. Mm-hmm. And those sponsors, give us, revenue that we can help fund as scholarships to these families so that they can, continue to send their sons to Loyola.
Wow, that is the kind of thing I think is important that people understand about that. Now, again, I'm gonna keep talking about this because I think that the more people that come and show up and find out, the better. What time is this open house on Sunday? And if people wanted to know, like if they want to call today and they had questions for you, how could they reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sunday, 3 to 5 p.m. is the time. And our phone number at the school is 313-861-2407. Just give a call in and say you have interest about the open house or, potential enrollment for your son. And, I'll be there to give you that information and just help you, hopefully come to the open house and know what to expect. And, if it seems like a good fit for you, we would love to have you aboard.
And what's the address of the school as well, Paul?
15325 Pinehurst, Detroit, Michigan, 48238.
Excellent. All right, and is there a website if people want to visit that? Where could they find you online?
Yeah, so that is LoyolaHSDetroit.org, and Loyola is Loyola.
Now, in terms of enrollment, do you, like, if you got a large influx, how does that work? Because I know you said small classrooms are a big thing there. If we had a bunch of people participate, how does that work? Do you expand the size of the classrooms? Sometimes if you get larger enrollment periods, can the classroom size get a little bit bigger?
Yeah, well, sometimes we do have class sizes that swell up a little bit, and what we do to work with that is we have different sections for our classes. So we are able to, break our classes into maybe 3 or 4 sections out of a group of, if you have 45 students, break them into 3 sections, you can still manage to have that 15 in a classroom. And so we're able to offset that pretty well.
Now, just for people that are listening, when we say 15 in a classroom, what is the average size right now in a public school classroom and a high school classroom?
When I talk to a lot of people, I hear, various numbers, but it usually ranges between about 35 to 50.
Wow. In one classroom.
In one classroom, So, a concern for a parent is sometimes if there's 50 students in a classroom with one instructor, what happens when 5 students need to be managed? 45 other students aren't being taught because there's a distraction in the room that's really preventing the education from happening.
Wow, and that's amazing. 35 to 50 now, and at your school, you're saying 15. That's a big, big difference in the quality of care that a teacher can administer to students, and the attention that they might need. Not that they're getting in trouble or anything, but they just might need help with a certain subject and understanding. And I think that teachers are in a lot better shape to do that when you only have 15 people in the classroom.
Yeah, for sure. And we do a good job, and, we really try to build bonds with our students as well. It's not rare for a teacher to know a student that they don't even teach, but just because they do a lot to just know them on a personal level also.
One thing I didn't ask about, is there, along with obviously paying tuition and things of that nature, is there any kind of application fee that people should be aware of if they were to come in and to the open house or wanted to apply? Is there anything that I can help them find out about that?
Yeah, no application fee, but we do have an application form online. So
okay.
You can go to our
they
website.
Can go on the website and check it out? All right.
Yep. Under the admissions tab, there's the application, as well as if you come into the school, you can get a physical copy as well.
All right. Well, Paul, I really thank you for coming on the show this morning and letting our listeners know. One more time, I'll let you kind of finish it off. I want you to give the address and time of the open house on Sunday. But thank you again for coming on. Like I said, as a Jesu kid, I know how important it was to me. That was my foundation, was small classrooms, church, and nuns paddling my hands, whatever had to be done. I appreciated everything about
keeping you on track.
That's right, man. I appreciate my Jesu education. So, Paul, you go ahead and give the listeners one last time all the information they need so they can, if they're interested in being at the open house on Sunday.
Thank you for having me. And our open house is going to be this Sunday, Loyola High School. Our address is 15325 Pinehurst, Detroit, Michigan, 48238. If you have any questions or are looking for extra information about it or just, the school in general, you can give us a call at 313-861-2407. Our guys are going to be at the open house. We'll have parents there. All of our teachers will be there. And you'll get a chance to kind of see the young leaders that we're building right now and, the potential young leader that your son could be if, you happen to come to Loyola.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Paul. You have a blessed day, and thank you again for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you. You take care.
You take care.